I'll get more into that as we go forward, but you know, it's usually a very unusual case that we remote log in. But if a system is completely twisted up, for example, they've pushed a new SQL Server update, that really twists up the InfiniVault. It changed group names, database passwords. It changed all kinds of things. We had to remote log in that case.
Okay.
So, and that's only happened once. So, yeah, most of the time it's the user really wanting us to do something unusual.
Okay.
Get some information about their vault configuration. I'll talk more about that. Remote replication, if they want to do that, again, I'll talk more about that. And then just some informational pieces for them about cooling dimensions, just how many spaces in the rack it takes, that kind of stuff. So just kind of a comprehensive, rather than to give them the user's manual. Here's a 6-page, I think it's 6 pages, document for them. It's 7 now. Document to give them to everything that they need to know to prepare. It gives you everything that you need to know when you walk into the customer environment to do the install. So I will make sure that you guys get a copy of that. It's also on our FTP site, and it's also in our support portal. So I guess one of the things that I'll need to know when I leave here is who needs access to ProStore support portal. And we'll show you what's in there a little later so that you guys can kind of get an idea of what you want there. All right, back to the original presentation, because I already kind of gave you a little bit of a clue. So basically, you're going to set your laptop to a specific IP address shown here, and then you're going to basically then have access to the InfiniVault. So I guess we can go ahead and do that. Let me just go through kind of the general bits of the presentation, and then we'll actually play with the InfiniVault. Okay, once you get in to the InfiniVault, then your browser will be able to open up to that, the InfiniVault address. You'll go ahead then and go into the System tab and go into the Configuration tab under there. It's really simple, and you give it an IP address. Corresponding to what the customer registered on their data sheet. So we recommend at this time that you go ahead and hit apply there. Before you join it to the domain. Again, you don't know for sure that a customer has created a separate group domain policy. You want to get the IP address changed before you do anything else. So we recommend that you go ahead and actually change the IP address, hit apply, and then go ahead and join the domain. Basically, you go into the name tab in exactly the same way. Once the IP address is changed, obviously you no longer need the crossover cable. Good news is that the crossover cable comes with every InfiniVault system, so you don't need to carry one with you. It's there. The machines are sold without monitors. The web-based management console basically depends on the IP address being set correctly, so just make sure that the IP address is set correctly.
And in running it headless, do you sometimes need to get customers to put these things on KVMs or whatnot to? Now and then?
Now and then, but again, very infrequently.
Okay.
It's it's not really the usual kind of a thing. I remember being at an install of an early customer that the RAID battery was in learn mode, and so basically it was in, it put the RAID in write-through mode, and for whatever reason, the battery never came out of its learn cycle, so we needed a head to go into the BIOS to actually set the RAID back to force it through, normal mode. Write-through mode's not really a big deal. It would just slow down performance, but it was something that we didn't want to leave the customer configured that way.
Okay.
So that's a kind of an
infrequently, but,
example.
Typical things are on machines where keyboard, mouse, and VGA, that it's there as delivered.
No.
It's not. The connection's not there for VGA?
Oh, the connections are there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, but headless is
Sorry.
delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's something that we carry in our support kit, but I tell you, it's more often than not, it's just extra weight that we carry around.
You carry a screen in your support kit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've got a little
one?
Yeah. But, like I said, I can only remember using it once. And that was a pretty peculiar case. Most times customers can have, a monitor for you, available to stick up there. I saw you plugging your laptop in, and I thought, you know what, that's a really good idea. Because otherwise, I don't know how much life I've got in this battery. I've already got the Murphy's Law thing working against me because my flight is screwed up, so I don't want to
Your flight is screwed up?
Yeah, my
The flight to
return
get back
flight.
home?
Yeah.
When are you expecting to go home?
Well, I thought it was 6:30 p.m. and I looked this morning and it said 6:30 a.m. So that kind of stinks.
Tomorrow or today?
Today. So I missed it.
So you missed your return flight? So they brought you in last night and flew you out at 6:30 this morning?
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder who's thinking of that when they book it.
Yeah, well, you just never know. All right, so I already kind of really went through all the reasons why you want to make sure that you create a separate group policy object. Again, that's something I can't stress enough how important that is. I can tell you that probably at least 10 support calls had to do with, with this problem. Pushing passwords or updates or something to the InfiniVault that just really screwed it up.
So you don't turn off automatic updates or updates?
We do.
You do?
We do.
But sometimes
That's why you would want to upgrade to the latest release.
Okay.
And so I was just about to mention that. From time to time, we will about once a quarter, once every 6 months for major releases, we'll have software updates. And during those software update times, we will then carefully select and test all of the patches that are available from Microsoft.
Okay.
Also SQL, and any other pieces and parts that we care about.
But I thought I understood you a couple times to say that customers have been allowing or forcing the updates.
Customers have been, yeah, and
Okay.
it's caused some problems.
All right, and they're doing that sort of as a manual. It's not that automatic updates are left turned on InfiniVault and it just happened to do it.
They're doing it
The
manually.
customers are going
Through
in,
some kind of a
connecting to the
group
machine,
policy,
and then-
exactly.
I see, okay.
That's exactly what's
So
happening.
but you just leave it in work group mode and then you won't have that
You
problem?
could.
So actually-
You could. I mean, most
only
people
they force
want
you
to
on
join the
the
domain because it's a NAS system that, they really want that domain sharing, with different users being able to write to it. You can use Active Directory to also manage a backup, a system backup. So, yeah, actually, most of our customers do join the domain. They do join the InfiniVault. But that's a really good question. So from time to time, like I said, you'll get an InfiniVault system, but you'll know about a new release that's out there. You can go to our FTP site, or you can go to our support portal and download that release. Actually, I think our support portal points you to the FTP site, so just go to the FTP site. Log in as customer and make sure that you're using the right password. That's OATHA 2OX. Those are the letters O, not zeros. We get an amazing amount of support calls about that as well. So it always just surprises. Well, you guys aren't surprised by anything because you do this, but it always surprises you what the customers will call about. In fact, I'll go through the last 2 quarters worth of support calls with you guys later, so that you can see what kinds of calls ProStore has received about the InfiniVault. I think that'll be really helpful for you guys. Okay, so now we get into, once it's installed, the IP address is all set, you've decided whether you're joining it to the domain or not. Now, obviously the first thing that customers are going to want to do are to create vaults. So basically, customers will create vaults for 2 different reasons. They'll create different vaults for 2 different reasons. First of all is to separate business functions. Maybe they've got different people managing those sets of data, and they really need to have those pieces of data separated. Or they've got different business rules, different retention policies, or different compliance regulations for those data, for that data. Sorry. The Model 3 really was designed with a single vault in mind. There's only 3 slots. We recommend 2 copies, per vault. And so really, having that 3rd slot can be used either as an import slot to read data back out, or for a system backup. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But really, so you'll get into creating multiple vaults and trying to determine how many copies the customer wants with each vault as we go forward. There's a little bit in the user's guide to give kind of a customer a little bit of a clue on how to do that. It's not a lot, but at least it's something so that you guys can, to know. We give out the user's guide to the InfiniVault to prospective customers all the time. We don't have a problem with that. You guys can hand that out in addition to the pre-install checklist. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention too, there's an install checklist, so that just in case you don't get the pre-install checklist until you actually show up on site, there's an install checklist for you guys. I should have shown you that too. And it just kind of gives you step by step for what you have to do when you show up on site. It's pretty simple. It's here somewhere. Yeah, just take my word for it. It's there. But it's,
New 2 features, 2.0 features, and the one right above it.
Installation checklist.
There you go. Okay, so checklist for the installer. Pretty simple, just not even a page and a half long, but, gives you guys everything that you need to know in order to install when you show up on site. Probably the biggest thing that you need when you show up to a customer and you go to do an install is the IP address. All right, sorry, got off topic there. It's hard to remember all the things that I need to tell you and in what order. So I'll be repetitive so that you guys, you get it. If I'm too repetitive, just tell me to shut up. That's okay too. So anyway, again, then planning how they want to use the InfiniVault. Not only do they get to decide the vaults themselves, again, by business need or retention policies, compliance laws. They also get to decide in terms of, mapping to the RDU which slots they want each of their copies. You can make 1 to 4 copies on the InfiniVault. We recommend a minimum of 2. We've got on the roadmap the ability to reconstruct a copy if it's damaged. But right now, it's a very manual process that you would have to call customer support for. That would be one of those remote login opportunities that we would have to really go fiddling with their box to create a
And a copy would be damaged if it,
fire, gets run over by Iron Mountain truck.
oh, that certainly is well beyond what I would have thought of. Right, you run over by a dump truck. Okay, so, all right, reconstruct a copy
Right.
if there's a
Right.
file system issue.
Yeah, because remember, the discs are removable, and in taking them off-site,
Yeah.
there are different ways that they can be trashed.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody sign this.
Everyone except the,
Becker,
For lunch, I'm gonna have a couple more people do it, so if you want a quick look at that, and then I can get it going. And everybody sign that?
so far.
Really?
Snoop
Oh, you
and Mike
guys don't
Todd.
need to.
Anyone else's name on it?
Hmm?
You want us to put any more names on
We
there?
can write a few
Yeah.
now.
is anybody really hungry?
No, Don, huh? What?
I should probably call them.
They will be at noon,
Told me last night.
Called last night.
They called me last night.
right?
Oh,
Count on it.
I'm sorry.